Are we good? Anything else? Yeah.
The issue of like packing students into classes that was just brought up, I've benefited from that. You said you had some complaints, and I know I don't like to be in a really packed classroom either, but like if students aren't doing their work after 2 weeks of school, usually they stop coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the people who really are interested and do really want to do the work stay, and so the class doesn't end up being so packed after all. You know, and maybe if we had some sort of process, because there are a lot of people who stop doing their work, or for some reason they really want to get in the class, but then they don't want to do anything once they're in it. Maybe like getting them out, you know, after, you know, okay, you're in, it's a couple weeks, you're doing very poorly, you're not motivated, you can go, you know, and not allowing them to keep coming and doing nothing or just taking up space.
No, I think what you're talking about, I think it's really important comment. What you're talking about is making sure that as many students as possible, almost every student who's sitting in a class is prepared to succeed and do work in that particular class. So for example, one of the other things that the Senate and the faculty are taking a look at is good old-fashioned prerequisites. Okay? You'll notice that in many of our classes we don't have them. All right? Or if we do have them, we've run past them. But the faculty is looking at putting in prerequisites so that in your experience at the, you know, in the classroom, so that there's more of the students who are, say, in a college level class and whatever might be, social sciences and so on, that they're prepared, you know, and not just going to, you know, drop out.
Yeah, but I don't know if prerequisites is like the ultimate answer to that. I think it has to do with motivation and not just going through the motions and like taking this one before this one. You know, but preparation is important, but it's more about motivation and somebody actually caring about what they're doing.
And you know, again, I don't think you know, we don't necessarily have you know, control over each individual student's motivation, but we can do a better job of making sure that every student who does get to a class, and more the percentage of those students have you know, an opportunity to succeed. You know, that they tend to be motivated when more students are moving forward in a you know, in a you know, in a rigorous way. And that would be the other thing. The last just mini point is that, you know, one of the things like Cal Poly brags about this, and it says that every freshman student is enrolled to a major. You can't walk into the class, you can't walk into the school unless you're enrolled to a major in a program. But here, we're good to our students, we enroll them, but we don't immediately put them in a program or a major. And maybe that's because of our tradition. Community college was kind of about finding yourself and wandering around, and part of that is good, okay? But another part of that is created a class schedule in which our classes are just a smorgasbord of classes, and you hunt and see what you can get when you can get it, and fill out your checklist as you move through. But what most students are not given is a program in which the first semester I come in, I am enrolled in these 4 courses. And then the second semester, those 4 courses. And in a normal sequence in which skill builds on skill, and then you know, and you can schedule those through, and you know that if you miss it, the carousel, you'll have to wait until the carousel comes around again. And I think that would have something to do with, you know, the motivation issue you're talking about. So, I saw Nikka, you know, going like this.
Well, actually, too, I was just going to speak to your point, because it does come back to professional development, and I'm happy that our president emphasizes this so much, because if you're talking about the students in the class who come and they're not doing anything in those first 2 weeks, well, that's our job as a teacher. I know it's a student's job. Of course it's the student's job. Nobody can make anybody do anything. But we are in the business of transformation. That's what education is. So if we can't inspire it, that's our bad. We have to both live with the fact that we can't catch everybody, but we also have to strive to catch everybody. So that's on us. And so sometimes we have to make the choice to not let more students in because we know we can't reach them then. There's a tipping point, you know? So if I can only do what I do with 28 max, then I'm going to have to say no to 29 or 30 because I want to keep those 28. So it is a hard thing. But I just don't want to see this conversation turning to the, can we get rid of the lazy ones? Because, I mean, I'm a parent too, so everybody in America is talking about how do you motivate people? How do you motivate anyone to do anything? Can you teach motivation? Isn't that an oxymoron? But we have to inspire that, you know?
But my point wasn't let's get rid of the lazy ones. My point was that I did benefit from what that one
No, I hear you.
had done.
I hear you, and sometimes you can do that, and some teachers can do that. Some teachers can pack a room, and it doesn't matter, and if they really can do that. They can handle it, they can handle the crowd, they can handle the workload, and some teachers can't, and so it's a complicated issue, and I wasn't saying that you were accusing. Yeah. Well, the other thing, just to wrap up, I think, you know, to try to put the positive spin on it, to try to look for the bright spot within the, you know, the dark spot, is that there is, for us faculty, an opportunity here to say, okay, I am so frustrated by the amount of students. If I have a class of 25 on the first day, I have 50 who can't get in. So it's devastating then to have people who don't really take advantage of that class after they've taken a seat. It is. But you can take it as an inspiration too, to figure out what can I do to make it work better.